In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Just crazy, that's all. But
mate, you've made more comebacks than Frank Sinatra
I
tonight.
tell you what, mate, this is it now. We're going on. We're back again, guys. Right now, of course, we've had this problem tonight with, of course, all the internets and whatever's happening. So we're back on again. Of course, there you go. I want to talk about that game yesterday at South Melbourne versus Preston by 2-1 to South Melbourne. Congratulations to South Melbourne winning 2-1. And what a goal that was in the 90th minute by Max Mikola. Mate, that was a bicycle kick. People said, is this the second Ronaldo or something? I just could not believe that, gentlemen. I could not. But let me tell you, that was the most amazing crowd of nearly 7,000 people. People were saying it was 4,000. No, it wasn't. There was a lot of people there that were there, invited and everything. Tickets were given and all that sort of stuff too. And press people were there and media people were there. So it was close to 7,000 people. And let me say this, 2-1, as I said, to South Melbourne. And of course, that was a bit of a promotion, Kenny, as well for the second division. Apparently, they put out the trophy. What would you call that trophy, Kenny? It's called the
biscuit tin. The
biscuit tin trophy. Actually, I looked at it and I said to myself, "Are they for real doing it the way they did it yesterday?" Where it was,
they could get Arnott's to sponsor.
Honestly, the way it was done yesterday, I don't want to complain, but I said it was a little bit tacky. Getting the two presidents to carry it outside there on a big podium before the game, but you would think you would have actually had the other presidents of the clubs there coming there making some kind of fantastic function for it and getting it online. There was it was all online on YouTube. But what could we do, Kenny? I mean, you need to get some kind of promotion.
It'll be funny if one of the Greeks or the Macedonians nicked the trophy.
Well, I tell you what, you would have thought that they were playing for this trophy yesterday, Joe. You would have thought they were playing for it the way that it was advertised. I mean, you know those old days. Did we ever have trophies before a game? No, we didn't, did we? But this was the pinnacle of an NSL game yesterday, the way it was played, Joey. I mean, look, we really needed to have some kind of, a launch. We needed a launch for this. Couldn't they have invited all the other presidents of all the clubs, Joey? I mean, there's no advertising for it. There's no sponsors, Kenny.
But Harry, how can they invite them all? They've only got 7 teams at the moment. They haven't got the other teams. How can they invite teams that are not even in the?
Well, they did have the 8 teams.
They've got the cup. They've got the trophy.
But who's going to win it? That's the other thing too. Angelo,
it's the old cat before the horse, Harry.
Let me bring Angelo. Angelo, you would have thought a more professional launch there, rather than have the two presidents carrying it and then trying to pick it up. I think it was about 150 kilos the way it was carried out. It was I didn't really like the way it was very tacky, Angelo, very tacky, no media, no nothing. I haven't seen anything all day. They only put on a few days ago on a video, Angelo. You've been in the promotional scene for so many years. I mean, give it something, give it some kind of oomph. It's starting at the same time as the A-League, Angelo. That's, show something.
Yeah, I think what we try to do, the first thing that any club wants to try to do is get a big crowd. And, you try and do the promotion. Now, they did get a big crowd, but they had nothing apart from the product, showing the two teams playing each other.
Yes.
And I think, Harry, you're right. This is the disappointing thing that, Preston, I know Preston from history always get a decent crowd. And playing South Melbourne, obviously, they can get 7,000 to 10,000. They're quite capable of doing that. But then to take the trophy out, like you said, they could have got 2 nice-looking girls. I mean, Kenny's got an agency. We could have got a couple of nice models from his agency. Get a couple of a brunette, nice blondie to take him out of the anyway, seriously, I think that when we get a decent crowd, is, like the players, Joe Spiteri will tell us that, Kenny, that play, that gives more adrenaline to the players, that produce fantastic sort of like football. And then we get sorts of disappointments, I think it's embarrassing, and perhaps the club they should be thinking a little bit more about how to present the product and the game at the stadium when you get a decent crowd. You know, it is disappointing, but with football, we've got to keep on learning, Harry. We've got to keep on learning, but we better hurry up.
And we have to, and of course, Joey, we want to bring you on right now. Of course, the Socceroos of the 2026 World Cup. We're in there. It's happening. Whatever's happening. And the other thing I'll ask you is, of course, a few weeks ago we had you there with Wadey at Brunswick City. What a great night that was as well. Thank you for turning up and coming. There was a fantastic night. Let me just say, are we looking to play the way they've played during the qualifiers? I mean, we had so many people. We're not going to qualify. We're not going to qualify everybody out there. We're not going to qualify. Of course, Graham Arnold has failed. Things happened. I mean, and it really wasn't Graham Arnold's fault, to tell you the truth. And I know Kenny knows a lot of information too. But then we had to change coaches. Not even halfway. It was only about 2 games, wasn't it, Joey? 2 games.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think there was a lot of people that didn't expect them to do well or qualify, and you know, the team that they have, there's really, you know, no X factor in it. It's just a team, a bunch of boys that can play, but there's no one really special in it, and everyone was thinking they wouldn't qualify. But all credit to them, they have, and they've gone, you know, straight through, and they're there, and you know, how they're actually going to play in the World Cup, you know, no one knows. But if they can keep stringing a 1-0 wins together against, you know, teams that are destroying them, well, all power to them, I guess.
And let me say, I'll tell you what, there'll be one player that you'll be looking at very closely. Was it Geordie Boss? You said was part of your academy, and mate, we're looking forward to him getting in there. I tell you what.
Haven't seen Geordie in there for a while, so there's a lot of new faces in that squad and in the team, and it's going to be interesting, to say the least. I'm definitely going to try and get over there and watch them, but you know, it's you know, how they're going to go or what they're going to bring is remains to be seen, I guess. And only Tony Popovic knows.
And of course, his way of playing is everybody at the back. I mean, that game against Japan, mate, there was not one player up front. Not one player up front. They were all back as if they were trying to get cardboard boxes or something to try and bloody stop the ball from going in. You could have had at least one guy up front, Joey, just to give some creativity if they're coming past him.
We did park the bus, and I think he was more than happy to, you know, try and eke out a draw, and in the end he got a win.
What a win.
So, you know what I mean? How he got the win, you know, it's incredible, but we got the win, and sometimes that's football, and again, what can you say about him? Can you knock him?
I think what I want to add is I know sometimes football can get ugly, even in the World Cups, and I think Kenny is the first one to appreciate good football. We all appreciate good football.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want to be positive about Tony Popovic is that when he took over from Graham Arnold, it was a difficult period. We were coming off, and he had to play against China. We won that game. We got off to a good start. And then I think that the way we need to consider this group of players, even though they're not as talented as the one at Qatar, we need to consider this group that on an 8-game unbeaten run and consistent. Although, let's be fair, you know, it was sort of like lucky as Kenny said, Japan had already qualified. The first game we played away from home, Japan, we drew 0-0. That was a great battle. That was a fantastic battle. But the game that we played at home, Joey, Japan had already qualified. They'd probably played their second string, you know, all the youngsters, and that's luck. That's luck, because at the end of the day, we won the game, and on the books and history will show that we beat Japan and we went through the World Cup without a loss. And that is absolutely extraordinary. I think that everybody in Australia should wake up and appreciate this group, because number one, Tony Popovic, first time he started coaching the national team. Obviously, he's had huge success with Western Sydney. He won the Asia Cup, Champions League, and all that sort of thing. But I think that, guys, we need to appreciate, because me sitting in Italy here, I'm very proud that every one of those players were part of that group that went through straight to the World Cup without, undefeated, without a loss.
And let me just say one thing about this: the least expected person to score a goal. He hadn't scored for how many years for the Socceroos, Joey and Kenny. Come on, mate. As is Bajic. I mean, would you ever expect it? As is coming in there, cutting in. If Riley McGree didn't come on, Joey, if he didn't come on, that cutback wouldn't have. It would have been a. And imagine if that was a draw. Us going to Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine then?
We weren't looking to get that far forward at all for the whole game.
No,
like I said, it was pretty hard to watch. But when we did, then it was an unbelievable run, great cutback, and again, credit to Azic, a great finish. There's no real X factor in the boys, but there's still quality players that can produce a goal like that. It was an unbelievable goal.
John, the other thing is that collectively we start. Joe, you're right. It's not as talented as all the other. But then I like to look at the positive things. It's like the marketing person. For example, Alessandro Picca,
Angelo, we've lost you, Angelo.
As you guys call him.
You there, Angelo?
Look, he's a great find. Yeah, he's a great find because who have we had there? The central defenders. This guy, Pierre, he's only 21. He's played Serie B when he was under 20. Right? He was at Perth, never got a game in the A-League. We all know the story. But he was actually watching him every second of every night. He was absolutely didn't put a foot wrong. I was absolutely. And the Japanese were pretty quick. They were pretty quick.
Very quick.
We know they were a stronger team. They should better football. This is another positive, guys. This is another positive. Alessandro Picca was playing Serie A. He's a baller. Lukaku. I like this guy because he's from a Napoli. I know I've said this before, but I see that extra. Watching Sandro standing Lukaku, standing Lukaku, against Inter Milan, didn't lose.
Angelo, we're losing you, Angelo. We are losing you. We're losing you for a sec. See, I don't know what's going on. We're losing you. But I just want to bring Kenny on for a sec. Kenny, if that was a draw over here, the pressure would have been on the Socceroos even greater. And then, of course, what would have happened? It would have been a totally different game in Saudi Arabia. That's for sure.
Well, we pinched the winner in the last minute of extra time. To get the result we got in both games against obviously Japan and against Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia will qualify. They'll go through as the best team. They'll go through. I've got no doubt about it. And we probably would have anyway. Same principle. But look, I'm just old fashioned when it comes to the World Cup. It's the elite competition. And for me, it should be elite teams. And if you just go, you can't just go there to participate, And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of teams there that have done fantastic to get there. But the reality is that they're not going there with any expectation at all of you winning a game.
Well, let me say,
I think that's sad.
Kenny, let me, and Joey, and of course Angelo, if you can hear us now, hopefully. Let me just say that the weaker teams have come into the World Cup. The two teams that you never would have imagined, Joey, Jordan, Uzbekistan, but if there was a 32 competition instead of 48, they would never be there. They would never be there at all, Joey. So what does this look like to you? Do you think that the Socceroos are going to get a better run through the groups? I hope we get a few of these teams.
That's what we're hoping.
Exactly.
I think that's the only good thing about the extra teams, that we can hopefully draw a few of them in our group and maybe get a win in the World Cup. Wouldn't that be great?
But and of course, Angelo, you remember the last World Cup, eh? I tell you what, mate, what Graham Arnold did and actually put the pressure on the boys and said, you guys have to fight, get through these groups. And of course, we got to the last 16 again. and we won the most games, and you guys know we won the most games ever in the World Cup. Even sort of like in the last World Cups, we didn't get through, but we did get through the final 16 in 2006 with our golden generation. But these guys were just really, they looked like part-time players. Kenny as well. They look like part-time players more. And they got through and to beat Denmark 1-0, and we parked the bus, remember that? And that goal that you saw in Saudi Arabia, everyone there, that Saudi Arabian goal, that of course Mitchell Duke headed that ball. Go and look at that goal that he scored against Denmark. Exactly the same goal on that same angle. It was the same goal, Joey. I could not. It just brought me back the memories of Denmark and how we parked the bus at Denmark. Angelo, I mean, that was just an amazing goal. He'd never done anything in the last few months, even the other qualifiers, but he stood up this time.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time. Do you have what it takes to become a soccer superstar? Look no further than Soccer Pro Academy. Led by experienced coaches, including a former Socceroo, the Academy provides world-class training to help you reach your full potential. From technical skills to tactical awareness, they'll help you develop the skills and mindset needed to succeed at the highest level. Soccer Pro Academy, where champions are made.
Are you looking for the perfect kit for your football club? Try Arrow Sport today. From jerseys to shorts to socks, Arrow Sport will have you completely covered. We can even cover your merchandising line, including hats, beanies, scarves, jumpers, and so much more. So if you're looking for excellent lead times, great pricing, and even better quality, try Arrow Sport today by looking at our website at arrowsport.com.au. And even better quality, try Arrow Sport today by looking at our website at arrowsport.com.au.
Looking for a haven to unwind and indulge? Look no further than Brista Cafe, nestled in the heart of Derrimut Village Shopping Centre. From decadent homemade gourmet cookies to scrumptious muffins, every bite is a delight. Everyone loves Brista Cafe, and you will too. So why wait? Visit Brista Cafe today and taste the difference for yourself.
Hi guys, Harry Sundai here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called ThereIsOnlyOneFootball.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff, from caps, t-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Now, look, Miss Duke, if you have a look at, I'm going to continue on the positive wave. The last 3 goals for Australia, the one against Japan, although we played bad, was an excellent goal. And also the 2 goals that we scored against Saudi Arabia were fantastic. I mean, the first one set up by Mitch Duke, that nice little ball. Kenny, you would have been proud of that as well. And then Mick up, took it on and he smacked it in. And then, of course, the second goal that you mentioned, Harry, Miss Duke, the header.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, they were quality goals. 3 of them. 3 of them quality goals. So it's not a very talented group, but they're very strong. They're very closely knit group, and they collectively they're a good squad. And don't be surprised if they win some games.
Oh, there's
in the World Cup.
I tell you what, Kenny, that goal he scored, and who crossed the ball to, of course, to a Scotsman, Australian Scotsman, of course. You know he crossed that ball. What a great cross that was! I tell you what, a Scotsman as well. So we forgot all these names. I've got to remember these days. Hey, Kenny, you know who I'm talking about, don't you?
Of course, but mate, look, I think the reality is we're there.
That's
we're going. The draw. We'll be. I think the groups of 6, aren't they? So I think there'll be 2 seeded teams and 4 non-seeded teams. We won't be seeded, so we'll come out against two of the seeded teams, and I think the third team in the group gets a second crack at it. So we just want to hope we don't draw, Japan or Saudi Arabia or one of these sort of teams at that stage. Because let's be honest, if Japan the other night had played the full team, it could have been telephone numbers.
Oh my God!
I get annoyed with Football Australia. I mean, under Graham Arnold, do you remember what they did?
Yes,
they brought the Aussie boys back, and we went and played on the Gold Coast.
Crazy! Oh my God!
Bahrain were here 4 days before we were.
10 days, I remember 10 days, yeah.
It's a World Cup qualifying game, and we'd never played on that pitch before. Never played on that pitch before. No home advantage. No. Bahrain are here 4 days before we are. And then the other night, that pitch was atrocious.
Oh, yes, mate, honestly.
It was atrocious. On that left-hand side. It was embarrassing for a World Cup qualifier. And in fairness, technically the Japanese, down that left-hand side, it never worried them. But it was really poor, for a World Cup pitch. And that to me, it's a happy medium between marketing and qualifying for a World Cup. It's okay to take games to different places, but I don't think they're the right games to take them to. I think you got to take them. If it's a really important game, you got to play them in Sydney or Melbourne, because that's where we've got track records of playing there. The players know the pitch; they've played there many times. When you start doing the Harlem Globetrotters and start taking us all around Australia to Adelaide, and for a World Cup game, that's for me. No, I certainly wouldn't even be considering that. So, it was very disappointing for me. Was what we're, and that's going out to the world. They're seeing what kind of pitch we're playing on. Really,
Joey. That same day that we played Saudi Arabia, mate. The early hours of the morning, it was Indonesia versus Japan, 6-0. Japan put 6-0 through them, 6 against Indonesia, and they were using juniors. Under 23 players, mate. You should have seen how young they were. They're looking for their future.
Mate, you just try to upset me tonight.
I know. I love the Kenny. I said that for Kenny. You told me last.
Mate, 23 ain't young.
I know it is.
Get this. 20. Mate, that's 23 ain't. Mate, like I said to you before, if you're not playing at a higher level, and Joe will tell you this, if you're 19, 20, if you ain't playing, you ain't playing. There might be the odd exception to the rule. But if you're not playing at a high level at 19, 20, fringes, getting in, getting out. At 23, mate, no chance. Absolutely no chance.
I'll tell you what, Joey, by any chance, if you...
I think this Aussie side, like I said, I've watched them play a few of the qualifiers, and you watch every game that they play. They're not pretty to watch. We would love a team that was pretty to watch, but they've made it. They're there. They've qualified. Football sometimes a bit of a chess match, and you put out the team that you've got, and you play the game according to the team that you have. Exactly. Now, if you don't have the team to be playing attacking football and pushing and pressing, then you don't play that game. And Tony Popovich knows who we got and what we have. We have players that can play the game. Are they the golden generation? Do they have X factor? Have they got things that are going to produce unbelievable, individual goals. No, we don't have that team, but we do have a team that has qualified automatically, and I think we'll go there and we'll surprise a few people as we always do.
Yeah, and
are we going to be happy to watch that football? No, but if we win we'll be happy in the end.
And of course, you saw what happened against Japan. It was just one down the line, and there was a goal.
Yeah.
They peppered
we
the
watched
goals.
that game, against the second-rate Japan side. I was there. I flew over to Perth, and it was like, this is a bit embarrassing, but in the end, we got the goal. And it was a cracking goal, and in the end, as the history will show, as Angelo said, we won 1-0, and now we've qualified for the World Cup.
Right. So
we can do that a few times in the World Cup.
Now
I'll take it. I will take it.
Joey, there was two players missing at those two qualifiers. Two players missing, Harry Sundai and of course Craig Goodwin. Now we're talking about these guys set plays. How many crosses did Craig cross to Sundai, and it was goals were happening at the beginning when of course Popovic turned up and played, and all these set plays were missing. But and in the end, like you said, those goals go in, and that's it. You're there. That's what it is. But these are the two guys that are the mains, Kenny. They're the two mainstays of the Socceroos. I hope they're ready to go. That's the thing,
Well, Craig's our X factor.
He's back. He's back here.
Yeah, I mean, but the reality is he's got that little bit of an X factor that stands him out from the rest of the team. In my opinion, when he plays and he gets the ball, we look as though something's going to happen. Whether it's quality of crossing or whether it be scoring goals, he's just got that X factor. As far as the Australian team's concerned, now you said he's back. Obviously, he's back. Is it good timing? Probably. He's probably going to get a bit more intense competition in the A-League than he is in probably Saudi. So might be good, and but he's important for us if we want to get results. I think any sort of result. I mean, when he doesn't play, we don't look the same team, in my opinion.
Let's just say now. What I want to say is about how am I going to put this now to everyone out there? If you've got Foxtel, if you've got KO, you've been watching the Club World Cup. What am I going to say now, Kenny? You know the way you're looking at me, the way you're looking at me, what you've seen and what I've seen, and everybody today was saying, "Oh, is this the Auckland FC that plays in the A-League?" No, it's not, guys. Please wake up. It's not Auckland FC in the A-League. People were saying this. It is Auckland City that play in their local national competition in New Zealand. And how they got Kenny, I have no idea. How they were picked before an A-League club or whatever's going on. What is going? 10-0.
They won a cornflakes competition.
Mate, honestly, all the games are one side. Bayern Munich 10-0. I mean, this is like an amateur. It's an amateur team.
I watched it. It's 7-0. The Bayern Munich players were embarrassed.
Yeah,
they were embarrassed. The one thing about the Germans, they sort of went, what, enough is enough. I know it finished 10, but it could have been 20.
Oh, gee.
If they had kept the intensity up, it could be 20. And the upside is the Auckland boys have gone across there on a Jolly Boys outing and played against one of the best teams in the world. So they'll go back and tell their grandkids about that.
Oh yeah, be a great thing for them.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Not for the comp.
But I'm still scratching how do you qualify for the World Club Championships? No British teams around.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Kenny, I just...
The only thing I can think of...
Championships.
Yeah.
World Club Championships.
Kenny, the only thing I can think of is that when they actually did the draw for the World Club Championship, Auckland FC was not born as yet. It was not an entity. And I think that they did the draw around about December. And at that time, you can't change the entity. But there is one thing that I want to share with you guys. For the first time in history, because I'm involved a little bit, on the 1st of June to the 5th of June, there was a transfer market was open for all teams that are participating in the World Cup Championship to strengthen their squad. The reason why I'm saying this is that Auckland, this team that, like Harry said, playing the local competition, could have actually got some players on loan. You know, I don't know. Look, it's just a thought. I think that most of the teams did it. Most of the teams have, actually got players transferred to, strengthen their squad. So Auckland, this team could have done the same thing, just taken some players on loan and have a stronger squad. Have a better performance. But I don't know what it is and why they didn't consider this. But it is a shame because you don't want to see a game 7-8-0. I mean, I agree with you, Kenny. On this stuff here, I agree with you because then people are going to start to ask questions like Harry, Joe, and yourself, as to why this team was selected to go and participate in the world's top 32 clubs. Top 32 clubs honestly, participating in this competition.
But you got to ask the question for me. Back in the day when this eventuated, and it's tainted. This cup's tainted for me because this is a competition that ended the FA Cup in England. Because the FA Cup was always the highlight of the season in the UK. Until Man United pulled out of the FA Cup to go and play in this World Club Championship. The FA Cup's never been the same since. Never. It lost its glamour and glitz. Now the question you got to ask yourself too is, why is there no a British team in the top 32? It makes no sense. I mean, it's just like, how have they correlated these teams? Like, for example, even if it was last season's champions, no, this season's champions, right? I would sort of get it. But that doesn't even make sense either. Because the majority of the teams were only champions in last year or this year. I mean, if it was this year, Napoli should have been there, right? On the basis
I can tell you a little bit about that. If you remember last year, Kenny, I remember one of the criteria is that the team that accumulates points by winning a title, which Napoli did 2 years ago, and then because last year there was a promotion, there was a publicity saying that Napoli had to finish fourth to participate in this competition. If they did not finish fourth, then Juventus would participate. So it was between Napoli and Juventus. And at the end of the day, Kenny, Napoli finished 10th, right? And, of course, Juventus are participating. They haven't won a title in 5 years.
Jeez.
And so sorry, mate, not this year, but last year, who won the Serie A? Just refresh my memory.
Inter Milan.
Okay, is Inter Milan playing in it this year? The World Club Championships?
Yes. There they are.
Yeah. Yes.
Guys,
So you've got them, and then you've got the team that finished fourth, Juventus. So you've got two Italian teams.
Yeah, it's a little bit, Kenny, you're right. It's a little bit confusing because Inter Milan, in the last 3 years, they've made two finals of the Champions League, and they won the Serie A last year. I can understand, the success. I can understand Manchester City being there, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, and all those other clubs. But I think at the end of the day, Auckland, I really don't know how FIFA
they got in there.
Have a right to that decision. I really don't.
Just hang on for a second. You guys, honestly, this is 10-0 the first game. I want to see the other games where they can surpass 10-0. That's the other thing too. That'd be the biggest embarrassment. Joey, I can't believe this. I saw some highlights of Al Ahly. This is the Saudi club. And, of course, Inter Miami. I can't believe Messi couldn't score a goal. Not one goal. I can't. It's a draw, mate. I mean, this is a miracle for Messi not to score a goal in a game. Joey, I mean, have you ever seen him not score a goal, ever?
Especially against that type of opposition. So,
jeez.
Yeah, like there's some strange things going on in that Club World Cup.
Did you hear about the $4 tickets now?
It's going to be very interesting.
Did you hear about the $4 ticket? The $4 tickets now to walk. Did you hear about that? They can't get people to the games.
Tickets.
They can't get people to the games. And also,
might have to fly over there and watch the
one of the Harry and Joe and Kenny. One of the most disappointing things. I watched the opening into Miami, and of course, there was a penalty save there as well.
Jeez.
Very lucky into Miami. They actually lost that game. But watch PSG last night and tonight. Chelsea are playing. But I want to say from those two games, the atmosphere, Joe and Kenny, it's just dead. There's no atmosphere.
No.
It's nowhere near like Europe. But, the club, the fans are singing every second, every minute of the 90 minutes. You get that chanting and the support. Over in America, even into Miami, that's a local team. It's just I didn't see any atmosphere. I think that's missing, and that's why.
Angela, you there?
You're trying to get people around.
Now, let me just say this a bit. I'm going to go to the next game here. We said Bayern Munich 10, Auckland City 0. PSG 4, Atletico Madrid 0. Wow, that's something that, I tell you what, mate, PSG to beat Atletico Madrid. Then you got what do they call Palmeiras and Porto. That was a draw. Botafogo in Seattle. Seattle Sounders, the other American club. I mean, you're talking Botafogo, aren't they from Brazil? 2. They scored. It was 2-1. That was a close. Chelsea are playing tomorrow at 5 a.m. They're playing LAFC. So is that LA? The Galaxy, isn't it? Los Angeles Galaxy. Yeah, I can't believe it. Boca Juniors. Boca Juniors, which is so Boca Juniors.
Why has Chelsea qualified for it?
That's the other point.
I'm a Chelsea supporter, but I'm scratching my head at the mechanics of how they come. Man City isn't there, Liverpool's not there, and they're all heading to Singapore next week, aren't they, for the tournament in Singapore?
We've got to question the criteria. I mean, obviously, that's confusing everybody. Not just here. In Australia, you talk to people in Australia, talk to people in England. It's just a laughing stock, really.
It is.
To find out. We want to know the criteria because some of these clubs. So you mentioned Chelsea, yeah. Why are they there? They haven't won a title in the last 3 years.
Nothing.
I mean,
so I think that people are tired. I mean, let's think about the consumers. You guys have played the game, and also me as a supporter of fans, and always driven the fans to go to the gates. I think that the consumer can only spend so much money, and then at the end of the day, we can only have so many competition. I think that at the moment we're getting
too much.
We're getting probably too much.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be saying that we're getting too much.
Joe,
I mean,
absolutely, mate. When quality always comes with refinement. It doesn't come with volume, right? When you look at fine art, there's a beautiful painting. There's not 20,000 of them.
Yes,
and we're starting to fall into this mediocrity of just giving for the sake of giving. And like you just said, the game's not stopped. We've gone straight out of Champions League final. 1 week break or 10 days break, straight into this, and we're going to be getting the Singapore tournament, and then before you know it, it's the pre-qualifications for the Champions League.
In Europe, we get the Nations League, which is something that like a competition that was only introduced a couple of years ago. Nations League, where they actually replaced the friendly. Which is a good idea. I think when you play friendlies, you're at risk of getting injured. You're getting risk of getting injuries, of players that can have to go back to club and so on. But I think this year we had the Nations League competition, and then of course Italy had the World Cup qualify against Norway, Erling Haaland's team, and some of those Inter Milan players, which create the backbone of Italy, they were so tired. We got smacked 3-0. I'm not just that's not an excuse, I just think that Barella, some of the players, Bastoni and Di Marco, who are key players in Italy, play for Inter Milan. You can't blame them. They're probably saying, "Well, we got to play in this club world championship."
Honestly,
they were thinking about Inter Milan, psychology, and all that sort of thing. So I think that it is taxing on the players. I mean, Joe, I'll be interesting to want to know Joe
but they seem to be bringing, their name players. Are they all playing? How many minutes are they getting? But you've just finished the big season, and then you're asked to come and play this Club World Cup. Are they? Do they take it seriously? Do they not?
But Joey, I want to ask you, Joey.
Well, there's a lot of money.
Joe, I want to ask you, Joey.
I think it's more important to the club than the player.
What I want to ask you, Joey, is do you think this is too close to the World Cup? Much too close to the World Cup. I mean, you're talking about this thing's going to finish in a few weeks' time. Then people are going to go to the World. I mean, it's too close. They should play this thing every 2 years or something, rather than every, 4 years are going to play it as well just before a World Cup. Isn't it too much for people to save money and go to the two competitions? Nobody's going to go to these things. I mean, tell me about that.
Well, there is a lot going on, as we all know, and the money's scarce all round, and to get people coming to all these different tournaments, it is a hard ask. I definitely won't be going to the Club World Cup, but I'll definitely save me money for the real World Cup.
let me say to you guys, and some of these games, I'm going to say this one here. Ever in the world will a team from Brazil, Flamengo, play ES Tunis from Tunisia? We're talking about different. How the hell do you end up with teams from? And what about the poor Toyota Cup, Joey? The Toyota Cup, mate. The best team in Europe versus the best team in South America. That's where it all started, didn't it? That's where it all started. So what the hell is going on?
I'm going to add a bit of humour to this. 1974, I'm playing Viareggio for Rangers, and we play Flamenco.
Oh,
Flamenco.
Boy. Gee.
And we turn up for the warm-up, and our coach puts cones up, and we're doing doggies between the cones to warm up.
Jeez.
Flamenco turn up with a ghetto blaster.
Oh, God.
They put the ghetto blaster down the side of the pitch, they hit the button, samba,
yeah.
dancing, the whole team, up and down the side.
Jesus. Here's something we're missing here.
With the doggies, right? Right. Flamenco 3, Rangers 0.
Oh my God, mate! But Kenny, you know what it's all about? What they do? You know what it's all about? It's all about rhythm, mate. Rhythm, musicians, rhythm.
It was a side shout, Kenny, mate. It was a side shout.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm looking at them. I'm looking at them. Yeah.
You were laughing at them. I bet you're laughing at them. You're laughing. You're laughing at them for sure. I bet you.
But Dukla Prague were youth team were there. And you know who was coaching Dukla Prague? Puskas.
Oh my God!
and he's everyone's watching the Brazilians, right? And they turn up, and of course they've got, they just look so relaxed and so, it was just poetry in motion. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, there's got to be something in this, but. Yeah, the Brazilians, you can't beat them when they're on full fire.
I want to bring Joey on. Joey, what's happening at your academy down there, mate? The kids must be pumping right now, right? Are you getting into finals? You're doing things. You're winning more trophies, probably.
We're in full swing at the moment. Champions League is going on for the last month or so. We've got another game this Thursday for our young under-8s. We got our teams also partnering up with Werribee City, our under-10s and 12s playing in the club league, which is going on. We'll have Academy Cup coming up in the next 3 or 4 weeks in the holidays. So, there's lots of matches going on for our teams, and of course all the pre-team stuff, getting players ready to join a club and be a part of our teams as well. So, we're week in, week out, 7 days a week. There's no real break, and it's soccer.
You're producing any kids going into the NPL as well, and they're all getting up now. Are they all joining these clubs?
Our oldest team, elite team at the moment, is under 12. So we're a couple of years out of the NPL system. I think next year that's changing though. There's going to be a 13s pre-NPL. So young players, you feel there's a few coming through, but they're still too young to really tell where they're going to be. But we'll continue to develop them, and by the time they get 14, 15, we'll know a lot more whether they're going to progress through to a high level or what level they're going to be at.
Are you doing?
We'll help them every step of the way.
You're doing tours to Europe. You're getting around doing. I know you go interstate. Are you getting out to Europe to do anything at all at the moment?
No, we haven't set up any actual tours like European wise. Again, I think our players are a little bit young, but when they get into, the 14, 15 bracket, we'll look heavily if there is talent to take them over there.
Fantastic. So that's the thing, Angelo. The other thing I want to ask you is any guesses of who's going to win this Club World Cup? I mean, I'm going to start watching. I want to Paris Saint-Germain. I think they're very strong. Paris Saint-Germain. You got Real Madrid there as well. I mean, you got these big powerhouses playing. I mean, you also got Manchester City as well. I mean, this is Juventus there. You got some of the big clubs from Atletico Madrid. Was that?
Yeah.
There's some big names.
Some big names, all right. I
mean, big names.
Chelsea.
I can, Chelsea. But they're the team that they're the favourites, the ones that you mentioned. But I watched them PSG last night, and I really love that team. There's a player called Vitinha, number 17, Vitinha, who plays like Niesta, the role of Niesta, Lobotka. The defensive midfielder that distributes the play. He is an absolute a spectacular player, just magnificent. His distribution, his anticipation, he's quick. A lot quicker than Niesta was. I think Kenny would, if you've seen him play, he's the type of guy that full credit to Luis Enrique, because he got rid of all the big name players like Mane and Neymar, all the ones that were there before. They got rid of all these players, and he just handpicked some of his players. And like Joe was saying before, the X factor. You try and pick the X factor in PSG. I think it's a collective unit. That them play, they're all fired up. They play, and then they got Kvaratskhelia for Napoli, one of the best midfielders. Wide midfielders in the game at the moment. They just play free-flowing football. To answer your question, PSG is my favourite.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Let me say also that apparently the prize money's bigger. The prize money's bigger than the World Cup, guys. Bigger than the World Cup. How'd they come up with that too? So imagine if one of these little minnows won it all of a sudden, and then, oh God, all hell breaks loose in their country about the game. But Kenny, the other problem is this. They're talking about, I mean, there's other countries that they've got no clubs in there. This is unbelievable that we can't get an A-League club in there as well. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, how did this Auckland? I don't want to talk about them, but how come we never got not one A-League club to get in here? You got to win the Asian Championship or you got to win the Asian Cup or something. I don't understand how that works. It's just weird, Kenny.
No, it makes no sense. I mean, the fact that it creates this. Well, how do we get to the squad? Like, for example, Real Madrid's just got rid of, obviously, Ancelotti's just is gone. New coach is coming in, so they'll be rebuilding. He's getting to know his new players, right?
That's right.
At Real Madrid, so you wouldn't expect them to be potentially winning it. I think what Angelo says. I think PSG just seem to have gone since they beat Milan, but they just seem to be getting stronger and stronger. I mean, the problem with the French teams historically, and PSG's particularly, was previously when they were getting the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and they got the final once, was I think their domestic comp wasn't strong enough on a weekly basis to give them the intense competition that they need. For some reason, I think this year's different. I think, like what you said, Angelo, they're more of a bonded team rather than 4 or 5 individuals. I mean, there's still got some superstars in there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the lad up front, and his name's just gone in my head. But the striker. I mean, they've got some crackers. And you look at it and you think,
he's one of the favourites. He's one of the favourites to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, fantastic player. So, I mean, I'm not a Neymar fan, but I think there was a lot of when they signed, obviously Messi's and that sort of group they had, it was like individuals but not quite a team. Whereas the point you made quite rightly is they look like a team. Certainly like Napoli is this year, right? I mean, Napoli have gone from last year finishing 10th to winning the Serie A, which is an amazing feat, right?
And the Scotsman, you got to mention the Scotsman. I'm starting to love the Scotsman.
Honestly,
I think there's been about Man United fans have converted to Napoli.
Hang on for a sec.
Scott.
What I'm about to tell you guys right now, you didn't hear the news the last few nights? You didn't hear about Manchester United? Whether this is a joke or not? But Amorim, now Ronaldo's left, you know where he's left? He's left the Arab team.
Yeah.
You heard where he's gone, haven't you? You've heard it, Joey?
No.
Back to Manchester United, gentlemen. Amorim signed him up. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know what that's for, don't you?
Selling a few more tops.
Exactly. And Amorim signed. I can't believe he signed him up. Do you believe this?
Look, that's how old is he? He'd be 38, 39,
40,
right?
Yeah,
40.
I think he's 40. I think he's 40 this year.
40 years of it. Joey, you believe that?
I was trying to get him to the over 45s at Altona City as an underage.
Jesus.
Look, you never know.
But in fairness, mate, me and Joey could have played in that Japanese team the other night against Australia at the back.
Honestly,
I swear that bad. Me and him could have played that, and they wouldn't have got attacked. They wouldn't have got.
I tell you what, we want to get bloody what's his name back here again. And you didn't hear the story about Alan Davidson taking the team to the. Did you hear about that, Joey? They went to Taiwan to play in the Masters games, and he's playing again. And over few. Did you hear about that? Did you hear about it?
Yeah, I heard of the Masters game, but
I'll tell you something better than that. I went it was about 8 months ago. A few of the boys, ex-pros, we went and played walking football.
Oh, yes.
I played one game. I played one game, and I got offered to go and play for Australia in Manchester.
Oh, Kenny,
you should. Mate. Football Cup.
Oh, my God, mate. Still, we have an opportunity to do things, Joey. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it, mate.
Did 2 nutmegs. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't even that impressed with my performance that night.
Wow.
Oh, God.
I don't know how they stay walking. How can you just stay walking, though? That's
it's hilarious. You go and watch it, you get all these old boys who skip, and they argue with you, say, no, I was walking.
So what is it? What rule is there if the referee catches you jogging? What would the referee do? A red card, get off? Is that right?
It is hilarious. Honestly, God, it really is funny.
Oh God, it's unbelievable.
Well, talking about Ronaldo being 40,
I can't believe
AC Milan confirmed they got Lucas Modric, 39.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I would say that if I had been Man United, I would have signed him in a heartbeat.
He was going to. Apparently,
he
was also.
What a player!
He's still going.
He is.
I mean, when you think of the players Tottenham had at the same time, I mean, they had him and Bale on the same team at Tottenham. Him and Gareth Bale. I mean, and Gareth Bale in full flight was probably the best player in the world. When he that first couple of seasons, 2 or 3 seasons at Real Madrid. When you see the highlights of some of the things he did, what a player!
He was picked up. He was picked up at 100 million.
Jesus.
Exactly 100 million, and it was COVID. It was COVID. If you remember, everything was shut right around the world, and everybody was concerned about finances. Real Madrid went out and spent 100 million in that year, 2020. That's when he got transferred over to Real Madrid. 100 million euros, not dollars, euros.
Unbelievable. And but watch his space with Ronaldo. I hope he doesn't start fighting on the field again and he tells Amorim what to do. They might as well have signed up Ronaldo as the coach, Joey. They would have submitted to sign him up as the coach. I mean, if you're going to have problems again with Ten Hag there, mate, you're watching one of the best players in the world I watched him in the stands there, you know, as of course a substitute there. Oh my God, the way he wanted to strangle somebody. Did you ever watch him in the?
This kid at Barcelona, the 17-year-old. Well, what a player!
Yamal, Yamal, exactly.
Wow, what a player! What a player! 17 years.
I know.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, he's not 18 yet, but with Ronaldo, we've got to say one thing. You have to appreciate the athleticism. Look, I'm going to be personal. He's a player that's no tattoos, no earrings, purely concentrates on his body. He purely concentrates on staying 100% fit. And, you know, he is a brand. He's a brand machine right around the world. So I think Man United understand the package. They're getting a package. They're not just getting a player. I think he's quite, you know.
Angelo, talking about his son too, by the way. I think his son's at Manchester United right now as well, training. You watch. I think his son's over there as well. There's a reason for him being there, man, because of his. Have you seen his son, Joey? Oh my God, mate! Seen his son playing there?
Yeah, I've just saw Man United. They've just signed David Beckham again too.
Oh, mate, Ronaldo's going to bring everybody back, mate. Ronaldo will bring everybody back with his age. Jeez, boys.
If they're going to play, they should bring Paul Scholes back.
Mate,
probably honestly, Paul Scholes could still play.
But they're playing those. They're playing those games. They're playing the what do they call those games? The heritage games. The players that come back to play, they're playing again.
Yeah.
Even the you know, you're playing in some of those games, aren't you, Joey? As well, aren't you playing those games?
The heritage games,
yes.
Did you say?
Yes.
Mm.
You played it. You didn't play it. You played it. That game at what's it called at Lakeside Stadium. You had.
We did a lot of charity matches and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that sort of thing.
There's actually the Melbourne Knights are doing something.
Yes, they are.
With their old team on Friday night.
Are you playing?
I'm going to try and get down there. Yeah,
fantastic,
there's prequel to Knights v Green Gully. So
wow,
it's going to be a few of the old boys down there having a run.
Fantastic. That's fantastic, guys. Thank you for honestly, guys, we got through tonight. Thank God for that. But as I said, a couple of buttons to switch up and make it happen.
Did we actually go to air, Harry? Or
Mate, we are still on. We're still on air, guys. We're still on air. This has never happened before, Joe. First time ever.
Is it going to be funny if we've gone through nearly over an hour and we're not actually on the air?
Oh no, Kenny, don't say that, please. Don't say that, please. We're still on air right now. Fantastic. But thank you guys for coming on next week. Next week we have some more guests, and of course, guys, we've fixed this. Thank you for joining you. Thank you for joining me. Thanks, guys, for joining. Kenny's got his dinner to go to right now. Thank you, Joey, and of course, Angelo. A lot of things happening next week, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight, boys. Thank you. That's all happening, guys. On Football List. Thanks, guys. I tell you what we got through tonight. Thank you, Joey. Thank you. And of course, don't forget, boys, next week we won't have this problem, but hopefully I'm in stereo now, left and right. There you go. Thank you for joining us on Football List right now, guys. It's all party time again. We're finished. We're done. What a show we had tonight, guys. Don't forget to get out to your games on the weekend, the NPL games. It was a fantastic game at Lakeside Stadium yesterday. What a great game that was. The weather, who cares? It's the passion of the game for you to be there and help your club. Thank you, guys. Units. Oh, yes. Hey! The cup of life. This is the one. Now is the time. Don't ever stop. We should have known. Gotta be strong. We should have known right from the top. And when you feel the heat, the world is at your feet. No one can hold you back if you really want it, guys. I see it in your soul. You want the cup of life. Not the days here, you're gonna get it. Do you really want it? Thanks for joining me, guys. See you next Monday, 8 p.m. Thank you.